I have to object to this in the strongest language Hang on 1 second, folks. Look, this isn't a review show. I don't do reviews.
Look, I know that. I sympathize. But Channel Awesome is a review-based site. And you've been with us over a year and have never done a review. So why don't you do, like, a video game review or a movie review?
Sure, I'll just combine the two and I'll review Pixels, because Adam Sandler is such a leviathan of comedic genius. That'll be so much fun to do.
Oh, come on. It's not that bad with the proper precautions.
Well, I don't always drink beer. Okay, we'll do a review. So, I guess we're going to be doing a movie review this episode. We're going to be reviewing the 1989 classic gaming movie, The Wizard.
I did that, actually.
Okay, then we'll do the original immersive MMO, Tron.
Did that, too.
Original 1982 or Legacy.
Both.
Super Mario Brothers.
One of my first.
Street Fighter the movie.
Of course!
I walked into that.
Yeah, I'm not doing that meme again.
Okay, so The Last Starfighter would be kind of a stretch making that a gaming movie. Cloak and Dagger would be way too obscure even for this site. I wonder if I could just take all of Metroid Other M's cutscenes, put that together as a movie.
Well, be creative. I'm sure you'll find something to review and you'll do fine. Well, I gotta get to the green screen room. Good luck with the MUD2MMO show.
Be creative. Okay. One from the vaults. Okay, kids, grab that big bowl of cereal and that big jug of milk out of the fridge, because it's Saturday morning in the mid-'80s. Grandpa Reagan is our president, Van Halen released a rock album that's going to define generations of guitarists, Terminator, Footloose, Neverending Story, and Star Trek III, The Search for Cash are in theaters, and the Summer Olympics are in America's backyard, even if the Soviet bloc boycotted it. And in the height of the Cold War, we've got this guy telling us to relax. And in the town of Garland, Texas, the first Photon laser tag arena opened. George Carter III was inspired by Star Wars to make a real-life game out of the laser gun battles in the movie. The game took place in a purpose-built arena with 2 levels, catwalks, colored lights, smoke machines, and a soundtrack written by sound engineer Ken Caillat. The same guy who worked on Fleetwood Mac albums. So yeah, there's a direct link between the invention of laser tag and rock and roll. So if you ever find yourself on a trivia show and you win money because of that little trivia nugget, I want 10%. But they had a problem. You see, how do you sell laser tag to an audience that has never even heard the concept? Video games are still in their infancy at the time, and arcades, well, yeah, there's nothing like a first-person shooter in the arcades. Hogan's Alley and Duck Hunt don't count, and you know it. So they sold laser tag in a media blitz. Actually, there was one good analog that laser tag could possibly have gotten itself in with, and that was the survival game. Now, we all know the survival game now is paintball, so drink. Now, at the time, the survival game had sort of a slightly militaristic theme.
Anxious to play games with names like Rescue the POW, Assassinate the VC officer and bring back his ear, Kill the UN advisor, and lots of others.
Yeah, so laser tag went about as polar opposite as they could go. They went sci-fi. And here's where we dig into that big bowl of cereal in front of the old tube TV, because the biggest avenue was television. In 1986, 2 years after the first arena opened, we were presented with Photon, the TV show.
Well, it's about darn time you got to the review.
What the hell are you doing here?
Helping! I've watched a lot of review shows since you started this episode, and...
How? It's only been a couple minutes.
Internet time dilation, but that's not important. You're doing it wrong.
I am.
Well, for starters, you gotta start wearing the correct cap. I mean, there's one on your computer tower. You left it there a while ago. Now, you need to make more jokes, you need to make more pop culture references, more pop, more animation, more movement.
Okay, fine. And while I'm at it, why don't I wear a white t-shirt, a loose red tie, a black suit jacket, and I can grow a goatee?
Perfect. You'll be a hit in no time. And snark. You need to add more snark. Good luck.
Tony Snark. Sure, why not? So, let's review the first episode of the Photon television series, The Recruit. We begin with an exposition dump.
Before there was time, there was Photon.
And then the standard kill a minute of airtime with opening montage segment. And this is the first episode. This episode doesn't need an exposition dump because the entire episode is exposition dump. And finally we get to the opening scene where we meet our hero, Christopher.
Mom, I'm no longer Christopher. I'm Bodhi Lee, Photon Warrior.
Bodhi Lee can give his mother a kiss goodbye.
If I sit here and nitpick every little physical detail, we'll be here till New Year's. 3 years from now. So I'm just going to say this once. Lul's hair, Lul's 80s fashion, Lul's 80s flat face shades. Actually, I miss my old JT shades. But this really had to be hell to film because they had to overdub everyone's voice in post.
Thanks, Mom.
We'll see you in a half an hour.
Okay, Mom, bye.
There's not even an attempt to really lip sync this. Also, they apparently couldn't afford to really give him a car to drive off in as he just kind of fades away into a flyaway into our second exposition dump.
Welcome to the Photon Center Tournament Finals. Our 11 finalists match their skill and wins against 4-time world champion Bodie Lee.
This is not how Photon worked. Ever. Okay. Photon was this game that took place in an arena setting. And the object of the game was to get to the other team's side, shoot their base 3 times consecutively to score, I think it was about 100 some odd points, and then you would run around the arena hunting down other players for additional points and so on and so forth. It wasn't played one-on-one, and it wasn't played in one-on-one world championships like this. And that also wasn't the music they used either in the arenas. This Kids Boppy recycled music bit was a staple of the entire series. They wanted to play the stuff that was on the charts, but obviously they would have blown the entire budget on getting the rights to do that. So they just remade the hits. Every episode had this beyond bad knockoff version of Chart Toppers, and yeah, a lot of it was Kenny Loggins, because Kenny Loggins was really big at the time. You may have noticed that I'm just letting this play on, because this arena bit goes on for 2 minutes, and if you ever thought a joke on Family Guy overstayed its welcome, yeah. Finally, we cut back to the view screen where Bodie Lee is being watched by the Photon Warriors. And you can tell they're the good guys because the ship is very well lit.
He scores 97% on the eligibility scale. Not bad.
I swear, the only reason that hasn't become a meme yet is because the show has been lost to the black hole of cultural relevance a long time ago. Somebody needs to make a GIF out of this and then put up... Yeah, I called it a GIF. What of it? We also get a little flavor of the other characters.
A typical male. He's clumsy.
You and your female chauvinism.
Oh wow, look at that really short fruit tree standing over there. Maybe I should go hang out by it.
I think the kid's ready right now.
So they decide to just outright kidnap Bodie Lee mid-game. And of course he knows something is wrong because of the bad still sore image. And through the wonders of transformation beams, our hero is... Okay, the 80s future fashion fell into 2 basic categories. It was either dystopian post-apocalyptic grit and random armor, or it was military styling on silver spandex with unnecessary armor plates. Photon decided to straddle the line. If you're really into obscure cosplay, you could probably do Bodie Lee's costume by raiding your local secondhand sporting goods store for football pads.
I gotta be dreaming.
No, this isn't a dream, Bodie Lee. Believe it or not, this is real.
And here we meet the Dream Team. Godzuki, Melina, Poop Emoji, Voltron played by James Hong, and token Star Wars reference. Come on, that's so the X-Wing suit, it's not even funny.
This could be real amusing to a 3-year-old, but I'm not a kid.
This is no joke, Bodie. Honest.
Okay, look, I know teenagers can be kind of incredulous, but let me see. He's surrounded by aliens, there's a space outside the windows, he's in full snark and disbelief arguing with non-human life forms. Okay, considering that they're pretty badly jaw-flapping, I can kind of buy his reluctance here, but, I mean, it was all made by the same crew that made, Really? No shenanigans? This is character design stolen directly from Super Sentai and from Power Rangers, and no one's gonna... Nobody at all? Nobody? Okay, that's kind of unusual. I just... No? Well, okay. Suit yourselves. Okay. On to more exposition dump!
Before the beginning of time itself, there was Photon.
Oh, stop! Stop! Science nerd rage building within me. I feel like the Hulk. Especially the Hulk between issues 272 and 378. So, once again, let me paraphrase the rest. Everything in the universe is good or evil with no shades of gray. The universe fights over who possesses the photon, and they can make planets good or evil for 1,000 years with said photon. And it's up to this small group to protect the light. The good photon energy, I mean. We have a full exposition dump at the characters here, too, when suddenly...
Attention, Photon Warriors. I am receiving a distress signal.
Looks like a little trial by fire for our new recruit.
You may have a reason to fight. I don't.
Bodhi Lee says he doesn't want to fight for something he doesn't understand, so they leave without him and without the kid. And then boarding their miniature plastic ship, our heroes blast off into a transition where we meet the dark side. The evil photons.
I will take Mandar and Dogar along with me, my lord.
You see, you can tell they're the bad guys. All of their names end with R. Yarr!
You will leave your bodies here with me and project on this mission.
Here's how they get away with one of the tropes of shows like this. Mainly, what do you do when you kill the bad guy? You see, in this way, if the projection dies, the real body is perfectly safe and can come back next episode, while the tension of the good guys dying is actually very real, which is extremely convenient. The good guys land on Arrakis to go find the spice. They land on the miniature set and green screened in to get the,
We must rescue the plutonium.
Yeah, that stuff. And they're promptly captured by a lame green screen effect. We go back to the mothership.
Oh, look, it's a trap.
And in a sense of plot convenience, Bodhi Lee decides to enter the fray.
Okay, I'm in. What have I got to lose?
Your life.
Oh.
It's time to play. What 80s anti-hero are they stealing from? Is it Maverick from Top Gun? Why are you Skyping me?
Because all the world's indeed a stage, and all the men and women are merely players, and...
Performers and portrayers, each another's audience inside a gilded cage. Yes, we all know...
Let me finish. They have their exits and their entrances, and one man in his time plays many parts.
As you like it. So, why are you waving your willy at me?
Because I was wrong. You shouldn't do it like everyone else. It's just another role. It's still gotta be you, though. And I was wrong to suggest you should do it any other way.
So does that mean I can go back to normal, then?
Yeah.
You know, there are better monologues you could have used.
I know, but I couldn't make the what a piece of work speech work. Break a leg.
You know, when I was watching this again for the first time in many, many years, it was painful. But not because of what you'd expect. It wasn't painful for the costumes, and it wasn't painful because of the music, and it wasn't painful because of the green screen effects or the writing. Actually, all that stuff was pretty much par at the time for what it was. No, it was the fact that, I bought it. Hook, line, and sinker. I bought it. I know people want a plot synopsis, but in all reality, this show isn't about the plot. It's the first episode. All this is just introduction into what's to come later. It's barely the hero's journey, but that's not the real reason this show exists. Photon was ultimately a sales pitch. The show was a pitch for investors to buy franchises and to build arenas, and it was a pitch to the players to go fill them. The shows have these little things thrown in, meant to cue players into the culture they want to create.
Last call for all contestants to pick up your gear and charge your weapons.
The same can be said about the books. Yeah, there were 6 books made on Photon lore, and all about Bodhi Lee. Actually, a quick synopsis of the rest of the show, and I can explain where I'm going with this. So, the Photon Warriors, the good guys, they vanquish the bad guys, they use the Photanium, or whatever you want to call it, and they bring the planet back to life. And they go back to their base, and Bodhi reluctantly commits to being a Photon Warrior.
Okay, I'm in. But I gotta go back and tell my parents where I am.
No, we must never reveal the nature of our mission to anyone.
When a photon warrior is on a mission, time is suspended on their home planet. Your family and your friends will have no idea that you were ever gone. When you are needed here, your ring will signal you. You should then go immediately to the Photon Center.
Then he's teleported back to his home planet where his superhero identity is kept secret. Does that sound familiar to anybody else? 80s, 90s kids, raise your hands, anybody? Because that's the basic premise of SWAT Cats. It's the basic premise of Gem and the Holograms, of Mask, of the Power Rangers, Hannah Montana, hell, Batman at its very core. This could be you. It's self-insertion fan fiction. And we bought it. I used to play Photon at the Palatine Arena in Illinois, and there was a Bodhi Lee there. From what I understand, there was a Bodhi Lee at every Photon ever. At ours, there was a semi-urban legend going around that he had to one-on-one duel another guy to get rights to the name. We bought in. It wasn't just about the laser tag, it was also the story and the fantasy behind it. We bought this idea that we could all be these heroes. We bought in that we could have these wild, secret adventures and then go back to our normal lives. We watched the TV show because we all were Bodhi Lee. Super cool, galaxy-saving hero, and shirtless, I guess. It was really no different than any girls playing with gem dolls saying Showtime synergy and pretending to be the holograms. That said, there were Photon action figures too, and the home game kit so you could play in your basement.
You know, when a lot of reviewers do shows like this, and equal opportunity, I'm poking fun at everybody here, but a lot of these people, they create this false rage and anger at something. It has to be painful to sit through this and watch this, but in all reality, this wasn't painful necessarily as much as it was just embarrassing. I'm embarrassed that I bought in. I'm embarrassed that we all bought in at one point or another. Most of us didn't even realize it at the time.
So I suppose I should kind of wrap this up. The show itself had a 26-episode run. Amazingly, almost all of them are on YouTube because, well, that's really the only place you can find them. The show actually had a series finale, so, I mean, it's all out there. As far as I can tell, they've never been commercially released. There's no record of them except for tapes lovingly copied from person to person pre-internet on VHS. That's why the quality of this video is so bad. It's probably at least 5th generation VHS copy off a TV broadcast. Now as for Photon, well, they basically fell off the planet in the early 90s. From what I understand, there are still a couple of arenas. I think there's one in Broken Arrow, Oklahoma, and they somehow managed to rebuild a bunch of old pods for a 30th anniversary party. I would have loved to have gone to that. I've heard a lot of rumors of other places trying to rebuild Photons in a few locations, but ultimately it would just end up being a huge nostalgia trip. The legacy of Photon, I think that's a little more important, because Photon put laser tag into pop culture. Laser tag itself is alive and well, and some would say it's almost unrecognizable from the old Photon crowd. No running? Come on. The fad, it survived a couple of dips, yeah, but it's changed to fit modern gamers. It's come full circle because movies inspired laser tag inspired first-person shooters inspired modern laser tag.
You know, I don't know how much you could actually attribute the Photon TV show to first-person shooters, but I like to think it kind of helped it along a little bit. Now, yeah, at the time, the show was cheesy, super ultra cheesy, and I even remember the original Land of the Lost, but in the time of 80s infomercial TV shows, it did what it needed to do. It got investors to buy into arenas, and it got players to fill those arenas. So, yeah, it served its purpose. And I oftentimes wonder how many people from the old Photon days are still doing something kind of similar to that. Are they still playing first-person shooters? Are they playing laser tag or paintball or something like that? I also sometimes wonder if they still have any clinks left.
Oh, hey, that wasn't really too bad. You know, if you really applied yourself, you could really be good at the reviewing thing.
Yeah, I guess I could.
I just unleashed the foreshadowing, didn't I?